Boys and girls, game number 2 coming at you here. Sync Esports versus Willow Keeper. This is a 1-0 series lead so far for Sync Esports, of course. So here we are, Willow Keeper, trying something once again unique, as they're known to do, especially against a team like Sync Esports. There's nothing wrong with that. But and as solid as that strategy was early game, it was a early game strategy that just did not work out, and they weren't able to get over that hump, and eventually it just all fell apart from there. So Sync Esports coming through. Good job by them with that said. At the same time, I know we give the team a lot of credit always, but you got to give more credit to Sync, fighting through that.
Yep.
And getting to that point. So.
Yeah, I mean, with Tree, though, it almost feels like they try so hard to try and play like a different strategy and go against the meta, but at the same time, there's just some things that don't work. Like, the game isn't really made for that in that respect. Maybe in the new balance patch when there's more heroes and there's a different way of playing, but at the moment, like, it just doesn't work, and it feels like they try so hard, but
they got
just
so
play
far.
Like a simple strat. Yeah,
but in the end, it didn't even matter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just strange, but
that went right over your head.
Their team, it's their strategy. But,
Interesting start here. Now, not often we see a Pyromancer first picked, but Insania has been liking to play the support Pyromancer especially, and I know last week we actually saw Pyromancer in general actually several times, making more of a point that the supports that have a burst option with their skill set, specifically Pyromancer, are definitely prevalent and a hero that you might want to think about getting. So, hey, first pick potential apparently. Now the bans were, what were the bans? Let's go over quickly. It was Magnus, Cthulhu Font, Kraken, and Swiftblade. So that was Pyromancer into Pebbles and a Puppet Master, and you had Glacius, Madman, Bubbles coming out here from Willow Keeper. So yeah, both teams going support options right off the bat. And I'm actually very curious about that Glacius first pick for Tree, because, I mean, the chances of Sync also picking up a Glacius on top of the Pyromancer probably would have been very little, so.
Yeah, Zinc don't run second support, so.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's just them sort of to say, okay, we don't want you to pick up Ophelia or Parasite, so we're going to pick up Glacius first pick.
I mean, don't you want them to pick it up, though, and then you respond with Glacius? Isn't that kind of the idea?
I don't know, man. Fusion loves Glacius. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I
mean, at the same time, like, would you first pick Madman or Bubbles? I don't know. Maybe the Bubbles, but probably not the Madman.
Yeah. It's something worth noting, too. I mean, both teams actually running their supports as their drafter here. And I believe Drentz also is a support player, right? For No Stone. So,
yeah.
Support players seeming like they're popular options as of late for drafting roles.
Yeah. No, it's true, though, because, like, I remember when I was captain for Instant Reflex, like, I played carry a little bit, and you simply can't lead as a carry because there's so many things you've got to focus on, obviously last hitting and sort of following rotations, but as a support, you're always involved in terms of early rotations. You have kind of the most amount of time to sort of think about the game, think about the next strategy, think about the next play, your warding spots, for example, and they all have an impact on how the team plays. Whereas if you're a carry, like, you could be split pushing while your team is fighting as four, and you can't really be like as a leader in that respect. It's too complicated. That's why maybe all the sort of leaders are really sort of supports or junglers. Like, obviously, back when BMG and Hanskin, obviously he was a jungler. The only really exception is probably Swindlemelons and SG. But even that is somewhat involved in terms of sort of team rotations, obviously, like ganks and stuff, like the mid players quite involved in that, and initiation as well, of course. So, yeah.
Alrighty then. How about the Legionnaire coming out here from Sync Esports? Yeah. Going to be in the hands of Slapped. I know we did see them run it last weekend, I believe it was. And and he actually went that very interesting build, didn't he? He went it was the bottle into Ghost Marchers, I believe, or just vice versa, or just those early on, and made a point he's going to be very aggressive earlier on, and made that work out. So perhaps something of similar here that we're going to be seeing from Sync Esports. Willow Keeper now back to them. Of course, you see all those bands. You have Soul Stealer Keeper, Doctor, Warbeast, Behemoth, and Tempest. Sure enough, coming out. It's a lot of AoE synergy even there with those heroes being banned, but. Tree's going to think about this one now. They got the Madman. They usually like to run that in more the suicide option. Boxy gets his hands on it. But actually, Baltazar may end up with it as they pick up Pharaoh here, as well as Bubble. They already have Bubbles. What am I saying? So, yeah, it seemed like actually more so that Baltazar may have probably gotten in the end. But so they got Bubble, though, making a point of two heroes that are both usually just solos. So this final pick, very likely going to be a Parasite? I mean, or Ophelia, actually. A Parasite and Ophelia are both on the board.
They don't run junglers that break you.
I know, but
They don't. They
like,
just simply don't break you. Don't even think about that. They'll pick a video Parasite because they won't. Like.
but the stats say you should run a jungler. So maybe they're finally going, okay, we're going to believe Quincy here.
Fusion or Root of Z don't play junglers. Like, I know that for sure. The only jungler I know Fusion could play, or could used to play, was Ophelia. But we won't see it here.
It's not like I do understand with timing and stuff and stacking the camps and everything. It's a different game than just playing the laning phase. I do get that, but I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't be comfortable enough to play no jungle. Like, apparently, what?
That makes no sense.
That doesn't make any sense. Fusion can play jungle. Root can't play some. What? That's rude.
He's crazy. Anyway, back to Tree. They don't give a shiznay, man. They don't play jungle. Like, this is how they want to play the game, and they don't care about the meta and what works and what doesn't work. Even though balance tells them that this doesn't really work and you shouldn't really pick it, they instead pick up an Oogie. So,
of course.
Yeah.
They final pick Oogie.
And the second support Bubbles, like I said.
Wow.
They don't do jungle.
Now this is so. Sync, we were talking about this earlier. They banned Oogie against Nullstone after it worked so well in that second game of that series, and ultimately forced the third and final game. So you got to expect they're a little more, prepared in a sense for it here, going up against Oogie once again. But how about that final pick Valkyrie too? Yeah, being played by Kaiser here. It looks like, I've hopped into scrims every now and then myself, and I've definitely seen Sync running this Valkyrie a little bit lately. So. I know it's not the first time that they picked it up by any means either, but getting more and more comfortable with the hero, perhaps, in the hands of Keizu here.
But yeah, so when in doubt, pick Oogie, it seems to be.
just pick Oogie and you're fine. Yeah, the laning phase, what the hell are we... So it's a secondary support... Wait.
Bubbles, yeah.
Oh my god, it's a secondary support Bubbles. Wow.
Well, they'd prefer to do that breaky than play a jungler, but simply.
Well, see, first off, that's one thing. But second off, I mean, wouldn't you rather secondary support Pharaoh?
Pharaoh?
I mean...
doesn't make... Nah, man. Like, at least Bubbles is ranged and his spells...
He doesn't have a stun, though. That's...
Kelpfield. Neither does Pharaoh, really.
Pharaoh more of a stun than Bubbles earlier on, at least, with the Hellfire and the Fungi Walls. I don't know.
Nah, man.
Okay, looks like we're going to have a remake here, unfortunately, so...
Maybe they'll be like...
Maybe clicking.
Perhaps. They didn't get their old avatars, so that's a remake.
Yeah. He said he didn't actually level up any abilities, so I don't know if that was maybe a misclick of an item or something like that, but... I don't know. Maybe they're just bullshitting and they just wanted a remake. Who knows? Anyways, it's going to be a little bit longer here before Game 2 going to be kicking. But yeah, that's a statement right there. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly, that's what I mean.
We would rather not run a jungler, even with Ophelia and Parasite as options, so we're going to support Bubbles.
Second support Bubbles. I don't get it, man. Like, it's almost like they feel that even though balance and the meta game is telling them one thing, so they're like, no guys, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, man. Like, and it could work, like, in terms of if there was the balance was sort of there, like, so like if the next balance patch it might work, but this one it kind of just doesn't. You have to run a jungler, put it simply.
Seems like that would be...
I don't know what the stats... I think Quincy's posted the stats ages ago, but like a jungle versus a non-jungler strat just is ridiculous. I think like jungler versus non-jungler is like 85% or something ridiculous like that.
Well, especially against Sync Esports, isn't it like if you run dual support, you don't win?
You lose.
You lose 100% of the time. So yeah, I mean, Sync again, they haven't lost a lot. I think it's like 8 games in total. Maybe they've lost.
The ones they have won.
The ones that they've lost, though, yeah, it's always been against a jungler. Is in the end, so.
Or against BMG, who run junglers. So.
The good old Andromeda Artillery Blitz and Emerald bands. So this is what happens though in a remake, and quickly go through it into the game eventually here, just as long as no misclicks happen. We're gonna be good to go. Yeah, this is our second series of today, so the loser of this will still be in it. They'll just face Nullstone Gaming tomorrow, and Nullstone waiting patiently to play the winner of the series as the result of their win earlier today over Rexars. The winner goes to the grand finals, and we'll have that 1-0 advantage in a best out of 5. Nice synergy right there from we'll keep a lot of ready-up synergy coming out. So All right, so yeah, Sync. The other good thing about Valkyrie, of course, gives you almost a secondary carry option too. Obviously, they already have a Puppet Master, but Sync especially likes that's why we see heroes like the Swiftblade, for example. Kind of steps up in that role. They usually run with something like a Doctor Repulsor. But yeah, hard hitting potential is there. So, all right, hopefully no misclicks this time around. We're good to go. Looks like we are. But yeah, so the secondary support bubble is going to be coming out here from Willowkeeper. That is going to be fun to see how that. So do you think they're going to do like kind of a jungling bubbles then in that sense with the creep pull?
I guess they could, but like, if they run a jungling bubbles, then why don't they pick up Ophelia? It just seems so strange. But I guess they will, because I mean bubbles needs levels in that respect, and the only way you can get levels is obviously to pull and farm the jungle, and he's not going to be able to sort of work in a tri lane in that respect. So yeah, I think that's the only thing they can do, because they can't have like a level 2 or level 3 bubbles running around like 6-7 minutes into the game. He's got to have some levels, get that level 6, and that's got to come from the jungle. Yeah. He can farm the jungle a little bit, obviously, with the shell surf. Oh, look at that. Oh,
they're like, please walk up here. Please walk up here. It's not going to happen. Good attempt. I like that, though. That looks funny. Yeah, look at the blocks, though, coming out. Gee, so Zlap is going to have his work cut out for him now. Interesting word of sight placed by Zlaps, by the way. He actually places one at their Ancients here for the vision up into the top rune area. Kind of a curious level 1 ward spot, at least. You know, eventually as the game goes on, it's not out of the question. But with that said, you know, so he's only going to have these 2 camps here now. He has a rev ward on him, so depending if he puts it in a good spot, he should be able to get rid of one of these here at the other camps. Madman are ready to do the pull. How are the lanes shaping up? It's going to be Pharaoh middle, and yeah, Bubbles going top, so most likely going to do a creep pull here. I mean, there's no way they're tri-laning with a Glacius Bubbles for an Oogie.
Yeah, they'll probably just have to pull, most likely. Although they didn't pull last time, unless they want to run like they did the last time, get like Oogie level 6, level 7, and then rotate him into the jungle, and then leave Bubbles in the lane to sort of farm up, which could definitely work, I guess. But
Bubbles secondary support. I still can't believe this.
It's just so, man, like I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Alas.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's one of those things, too. It's like, here we are now, Cycle 5. I mean, it's not like this is just a new thing, that jungling is actually really good. It's just been known for a long time. And sure, it's more like the last couple of cycles, it's become more and more like, yeah, you should do it. But you'd figure after all this time they'd at least practice it more, I mean, to be frank. So that's why I'm a little... I mean, hey, let's wait for the series to finish up and before, I guess, getting too over the top.
Before Bubbles goes like
exactly. You know, Bubbles going to get immortal. It's going to work out perfectly, and we're going to look like dumbasses as a result. But we'll see. Did he do the creep pull? No, he's trying to do the pole camp here, but he's failing at that, unfortunately.
He pulled it a little bit late. He pulled it like 116. So you have to do it like 115 normally. So. Especially Antlers are really freaking annoying.
Oh yeah, those are annoying. Successful there as a result. You see the middle lane, they actually put some good pressure on a Pharaoh, but not enough for a kill. Pebbles and Pyromancer doing their thing. So yeah, this is the other problem with these lanes, obviously, is, you know, you got 2 lanes definitely in favor of Sync. You got Puppet Master bottom against a Madman. He also has Legionnaire nearby, and that's always threatening. And then Pebbles, Pyromancer versus Pharaoh. Definitely both of those lanes, they should have a very good chance. And again, Legionnaire in his jungle. Now, granted, he's got some blocked camps here, but he does counter ward this middle camp, and that gives him even more options.
I mean, another thing we didn't really mention is that, like, if us as casters break, you know, what tree are going to run, then clearly the people who are going to play against them for money will know, you know, even more so. And if you think about it, like, Legionnaire's being picked up here because he's an incredibly greedy jungler, yet they know Tree are going to do like a defensive tri-lane, so they can get away with it. At the same time, they run a dual mid, obviously, with the Pebbles, Pyromancer, so they're getting a farm on the Pebbles, while at the same time getting a farm on Puppet Master. They're getting farm on 3 heroes, whilst Tree, they're getting farm on 1 hero and sacrificing 2 of the other lanes.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, but we'll have to see. They are ahead a little bit in terms of gotten experience, but that's because Flintmeister has actually got incredibly low CS. Boxy's wrecking that bottom lane, actually.
Yeah.
And Slaps, I think he's more stacking instead of farming, so that'll increase sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I was going to say, he must be low on regen, though. I mean, he kind of is, although he gets his bottle right there. So, yeah, Boxy's doing a great job down here, actually. Definitely, as you mentioned, on the bottom lane. So that's to props of him, and just that's great news for Tree because with the way the stream's starting. They could use a successful lane like that where he maybe wouldn't expected it, so that's good. Top lane, look at Casey going at it with Glacius here, throwing the arrow in his face, and if you're going to freeze me, you're going to take an arrow to the face. And actually, both will survive, but of course, keeping it box him out, so, you know. Yep.
What is this Bubbles doing, though? Like,
I know, it's like he's kind of
looking at Valkyrie,
staring and threatening an auto attack here. Oh, here he goes. Here's this auto attack. Yeah, feel that. Oh, the damage is real. I mean, he's got a shell surf here, to be fair, actually. If he actually gets a kill, I swear to God. If he actually gets a kill. Nope, he's baiting. Look at the bait. Look at KZ bait. Oh, he needs to get away. Oh, man. That was a lot closer than I expected it to be.
Yeah, same. But K2 like really did man up on him. Like he's trading auto attacks all the time instead of just running back. But I guess he can just buy the health pot which he's doing from the side shop. And now Bubbles has got low HP, but he's got no kind of regen outside of a mana pot. So back he goes and just sort of sits in the lane and takes XP from Oogie for not a lot of reason.
That's right, there's Oogie up here. I kind of forgot, honestly. I was just thinking about the supports and everything. But yeah, Oogie in the meantime is getting that free farm of his, so that's the good.
But there's the golden experience, though. Deficit already started.
Yeah, that's a illusion right there, okay. Yeah, you see the 800 experience gap, and again, that may not seem like a lot, but 4.5 minutes in, that's a lot. So, it's definitely going to play a role here as the game goes on, I'm sure. Madman fights Legionnaire, by the way. And actually, this could be a kill. I mean, he has another barrel roll coming up in 7 seconds. Now, he doesn't have enough mana for both. Okay, yeah, he's going to fall back. There we go.
Oh, and there it goes. So it's going to be, there it is then. Oogie starts rotating to the jungle, so like we saw in game 1.
Huh.
And what we've been seeing in scrims, or what I've been seeing from scrims in Tree, they rotate their hard carry into the jungle to free up the farm, but it's like, okay, yeah, obviously, this does allow you to have like a laning support. Like, obviously, you couldn't do, like, if for example, if Root of Z was Ophelia, then obviously you couldn't rotate, the carry into the jungle and then put Ophelia on the lane, which doesn't work like that. But obviously now it does. It allows obviously more versatile hero picks to get golden experience in that respect. But at the same time, it's like, it just seems weird, man.
Now, I mean, Pebbles and Power Bancer did a good job with that. So maybe almost expecting that. They actually went into the Hellborn jungle, and they actually took out a double stack camp that was here at the bottom middle camp. So, taking some farm away from Oogie right there, who would eventually switch in as we see here. So good heads up by them, and also getting some more farm from Mickey, who actually remains on top of the GPM chart at nearly 400 gold per minute now. As he might hit that here with his last creep, just about there. So. That portal key, well in the works. I mean, he's got the steam boots at least first. We'll see how he continues to progress. Puppet Master, a little bit surprising perhaps, but not. He's having a good time. It's not like he's having a bad time necessarily, but Madman is the one that's a little surprising, having a great time. But actually, Madman now is finding himself in another interesting spot here. He's kind of being sneaky as he can, going in on a Pyromancer, but with Legionnaire nearby, it's not going to happen, even with Pharaoh coming in. So he decides to kind of give it up right there. And let bygones be bygones. But Bubbles farming away at the top lane. Again, taking over, of course. But yeah, Belcher, this is his first game at Oogie. And again, Oogie's, I'm not saying he's a difficult hero by any means, but he's not your typical carry, to be fair, either. And, plays a little bit different than other carries. He's not as right-click oriented as, some. More of the doctor, in a sense, or more of the Wretched Hag, you can even say, in a sense, more about the spells. So we'll see how that comes into play here. But what is this about? Mickey is pretty good when he's over that GPM, yeah. Mickey is an X factor for Sync. I think that's not
he is like a complete playmaker. Like when he picks up those items, top lane Bubbles taking a lot of damage, but should be fine in the end.
Maybe.
Perhaps no. If he gets hit by an arrow, he will die. But it should be fun. Here comes to reach him. Yeah, and when Portal Key's being picked up from Pebbles, they don't have the greatest way to really address it. Okay, they've got some gank potential with the Pharaoh, and obviously Bubbles is getting levels now as well. But this is what happens when you dodge the dual mid, then you just allow free farm on the enemy middle hero, which is obviously going to be Pebbles. And whenever I've seen Zinc have kind of a hard time, is when Mickey has a hard time in lane. When he has a hard time in lane, then he can't get the portal key, and he can't really tempo control the game. But in this case, he's got all the farming in the world. He's got the highest GPM in the game right now. He's going to have a very, very early portal key, and then once he picks up the portal key, it's going to free up more farm and sort of space for Keizu and Slapped and Flensmeister. But
isn't that kind of interesting? For as often and really every game as they do, they run dual support here on Willowkeeper. It seems like they rarely run dual support middle. It seems like I don't know. It seems like if anything,
They never
they're doing
do.
the creep pull, kind of the trial in the top, or actually Pymax gets caught here, by the way. Still no Bloodlust kill. This is going to be it. Finally coming out here at 8 minutes into this game, so Krake actually gets credit for the Bloodlust kill. So yeah, long Bloodlust kill, but it sure enough comes in favor of Willock here. But yeah, going to your point though, it's like they don't do it, and maybe that's a factor why they struggle so much against a team like Sync even.
Yeah, I mean, normally when you pick up 2 supports, the most important thing is obviously to have kind of lane domination. So you want to obviously win 2 out of 3 lanes. Obviously, because if you don't have a jungler, then you need to really focus on winning lanes to get your golden experience. And and the enemy team, yeah, they might not have dual support, so they might lose 2 out of the 3, but they've got 1 lane that's going to win, and also they've got the jungle. So in that respect, they're going to win the jungle. So as long as they get in almost like 2.5 ratio of farm in terms of obviously like 2 lanes plus like a jungler as well, then it's fine. But yeah, I mean. Tree barely ever do dual mid. Like, I've really ever seen it. The only time I've seen it is when they run like Gladiator plus Glacius mid, and you never see that. So, and the reason why they do like to have kind of like their mid to have like very early level 6, and then normally the secondary supports rotates mid to sort of pick up kills, just similar to what what happened previously, where instead of the supports it was actually Boxy who rotated mid, because obviously Pharaoh was level 7. You could get early ganks mid, but it doesn't matter too much though, because look at the golden experience. Like, it's only like nearly 9 minutes in yet, like only 2,000 gold and 2,000 experience is already in their deficit. And I mean, Slapped hasn't even come online. But once he picks up his portal key as well, then it's going to be absolute chaos here for Trey.
Well, to be very kind of did. I mean, obviously he set up a gank there in the middle lane and actually got credit for the kill even on a fair right there. But yeah, once he gets the portal key, it's even that much scarier. But the charge alone allows him to kill, and Cole's got that with the Ghost Marchers that he gets here. Again, very similar to what he did last time now. Interesting pickup I am noticing. Ogi actually getting plated Greaves here now. The Ring of Swords are nothing crazy there. And actually, oh boy, he's going to... Oh, it dodges a stun, but the Chuck gets the kill. So Mickey doesn't necessarily land the combo, but no combo needed apparently, as the Chuck was enough right there. Valkyrie, in the meantime, she's finding herself in a bad spot. Yeah, she tried to leap initially. That does not work, and the Wrath of the Pharaoh, well, landed by Krake, gets the kill. And actually, Pebbles is now in some trouble. So if they can make this a 2-for-1, that is a pretty big deal. But Mickey says, no, I'm going to make it a 2-for-1. Never mind. He goes down to the end, but a good attempt coming out
so close
from Mickey right there. Yeah, very close shot. At least getting 1, if not 2 kills himself. But, okay, big picture, even with losing Ogi, they at least get a couple responses, and they deny the middle tower on top of it. So really not the best, the worst case there.
Level 6 now on Bubbles as well, so not too bad. And I mean, the only way that Tree can really get the golden experience, obviously, because they're not farming the jungle, is to get these kills. And those 3 kills there is actually very important, because obviously now it gets level 6 on Bubbles, but also quite important, it gets obviously level 4 on Glacius. If you run a dual support, like, your 2 supports are so under leveled, but and how else are they going to get their levels outside of kills?
I'm sorry, I just noticed something here. Ogi, look at his build. I was mentioning his item build. He does not have any points in a Tarquin.
Yeah, it's the jungling build. Similar to Alonia. Alonia actually maxed, I don't know if you noticed, but in game 1 he actually maxed W for increased farming potential, and it's the same here. Oh man, there's one Oogie player that is like, he plays like 2K MMR and he does this all, and it absolutely owns. Like, you don't even need to have, like, I think he gets 0.1, he gets like level 1 in Quake, and then he just goes to max W and E, and he just chases people down, and it like absolutely owns. Because like, normally you don't really have the mana to really sustain level 4 Tarquake.
That's true, yeah.
Until sort of later stages of the game, and it can work very well obviously, because E is obviously there just to sort of increase your mana and have some sort of sustain, and obviously W is there just to increase your sort of chasing and farming potential.
Yeah,
and it does work, but
well, again, that's the downside, though, exactly. His gank potential, his going for hero kills is not nearly as there. I mean, usually hero that you consider to be very effective in the earlier team fights, not as much. I mean, you pointed out, I mean, Conflagrate is still good in team fights, but it's not the Tarquake good.
No, yeah.
He could have,
I think he should get at least level 1 Tarquake, because Tarquake is like really strong, obviously, and although if he maxes Tarquake level 4, he won't have the mana to sustain it, but obviously level 1 Tarquake obviously increases the damage, like the more times it's sort of used, although it costs more mana, but it does the more damage, so pretty decent.
So what about earlier I was talking about, though, with the plated Greaves? I mean, he could have got Steamers, Ghost Marchers, but going the plated Greaves here.
I like the plated Greaves. It's obviously going against a lot of physical presence from Legionnaire, Valkyrie, and Puppet Master. And also, like, he doesn't really need, like, obviously the phase boots, but the other build from Oogie in terms of the boot build is obviously steam boots, but like, he doesn't really need increased strength, because obviously he's quite tanky himself. Like, to increase his EHP would be obviously to increase the armor. And obviously there is some physical presence here as well. So I think actually the play Greaves is decent. Obviously it adds a little bit of pushing potential, obviously to Creep, but also to his AoE team fight as well. Sorry, to his team as well, obviously, because it's AoE in that respect. So
Nice
yeah, I prefer it.
They're on the top lane, and there's a dead Glacius. Yeah, they were being pretty patient with that. They had sort of side spotting Glacius the whole time. It's just a matter of case you could find the angle with the arrow, and sure enough, he did. And that sets up an easy kill on Fusion right there, playing the Glacius. So well played, catching him. But yeah, I mean, this Oogie is farming crazy. They're going to need to really rely on him, no doubt. 390 gold per minute. It's just a matter of how much impact that's going to have. Sooner than later is the idea. In the meantime, Pharaoh, middle lane. Now he catches Pebbles. Pebbles, though, he does not have his chuck ready. It is coming up. Blazing Strike. Weapon is off. Now we get the Wrath of Pharaoh off though first. And here we go. Thinking, but no chuck. Okay, has a level 1 now. The chase is real, but not real enough. And actually, Legionnaire also kind of getting away. You see that level 1 Tarquake. So minimal damage, at least applying a little bit of slow. But Pebbles comes back in. Gets the 1 kill. He's going for the second, but he doesn't get a beautiful freeze from Glacius. And the Glacial Downpour. Doing work right there. Double tap for Fusion.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's so rare. Like, you barely ever see Glacial Downpour do so much work. Got both of those kills and still survive.
That freeze reaction, too.
Man.
If he didn't freeze Pebbles when he did, Oogie would be dead right now, I'm pretty sure. So he did not allow him to auto-attack Oogie and then the Glacial Downpour to finish them both off. That was an excellent play by Glacius there.
Yeah, and obviously these team fights and kills are really giving the golden experience that Trio are really lacking without obviously farming the jungle. So quite interesting. I mean, Quincy, do you have the creep efficiency? Because obviously I think Zeke are going to have a high creep efficiency. So obviously for Tree to get back into golden experience, they've got to find other ways to increase the golden experience, and that's most likely through kills. So.
Well, yeah, I would think Tree's up there as well, though, because to be fair, Oogie has jungled quite a bit now.
Yeah, but like you got slapped farming the jungle whilst like. I guess Oogie has been farming the jungle as well, but I guess you're right, Breaky.
There's some good stacks here.
At the early levels.
Yeah, maybe a little bit earlier on, but now I wouldn't be surprised if they're pretty similar, but has the icon here. Okay, well, no.
It's like 7%.
I think it's actually a pretty good gap there.
It's a pretty decent gap.
Bottom tower, they want to get this. Pebbles ready with that Portakey. Madman, you're dead. Yeah. I was going to say, as soon as he exposed himself, and actually this will be a tower kill on top of that as a result, so I think Sink is very happy with that exchange right there. Obviously 1-0 with the tower kill. Here we go, the top lane. They're trying to counter push, but yeah, they can't do it much longer. Here comes the invis. Valkyrie Prism being used. At level 1,
Courier.
that's 4 more seconds right here. The courier is coming in. It's going to be fine. Oogie does get caught in the air. Only 1.7 seconds down. Here we go. Primal Surge is up. Trying to stay alive. Bubbles, Kelfill, the tar pits. Again, those aren't really max levels just yet, but still a lot of damage coming out. Puppet Master, can he survive the Blazing Strike? Even with the Blazing Strike, it doesn't matter. That wasn't a Blazing Strike. Never mind. Oogie does go down still. And Glacius also falls. Bubbles now trying to get away. So yeah, Oogie doing his best to survive right there by not tanky enough, says Sync Esports. And they get the kill.
And Pharaoh actually just about dodged the gank come out from Legionnaire and Pebbles actually, but it's what I mean about the courier. Like they were all invis from Valkyrie Prison, but the courage went over to Invisible Legionnaire, gave obviously the idea to what was happening to sort of Pharaoh. Pharaoh backed off and did get away from the gank, so a little bit of a miss micro come out from the courier, obviously spotting out the intended gank, but in the end, Sync did get a good trade in top lane. So.
Yeah. Yeah, again, speaking of that Glacius pick, more stats going to back that up. But remember, that was the first pick, too, on Tree's side. That was actually in response to a Pyromancer first pick on the side of Sync Esports. So, again, both teams going with their main support. That's the first pick. Not often we see that nowadays, but that was the case here. By the way, there's a Puppet Master that's been doing his thing. In case you forgot, I kind of did. He's actually interesting here. I mean, he still needs the Steam Staff.
All right, so he's got the
side.
I saw on his icon.
I know. It's like, wait a second.
I was like, what?
Rift Shards follow up? No. Yeah, he can buy the Steam Staff from the outpost, so obviously that makes sense there. The pattern, and then just easily pick it up from the side.
Helm on Madman as well, actually. Foxy loves going Helm. Like, I think he went Helm on Kinesis.
He's one of these players. He reminds me a lot of like a Fresh Flow. Fresh Flow played a very similar role in this Suicide role, and you just never knew what to expect, man. I mean, the guy's just he made some fun plays. Sometimes you smack yourself before you're thinking. Other times like Boxy making huge plays. And as far as item builds go, you never try to guess because, as we say, it's Boxy being Boxy. So the Helm of the Black Legion here indeed is finished. At the top side here, you got Glacius and Bubbles. The arrow's coming out. Nope. Bubbles going to avoid it. Will be good.
I mean, I don't know if... Sorry, I was going to say, like, Break, like... I mean, this Oogie pick compared to, say, a Nullstone Oogie pick just seems so different. Like, I don't know, it just seems the whole playstyle, like, around Oogie just... Oh, middle lane.
Yeah, they catch Pebbles right here. Will they have the follow-up? It's a question. In fact, they don't want to get turned on. It's more important. Madman goes down. Again, the Blazing Strike assisting right there as Pebbles doing a lot of the work. But here comes Legionnaire now. Oogie being locked down. Problem search, he couldn't even get it off. The lockdown was real. Pebbles is still alive. That's the target they went for initially. Is he actually going to survive? No, he doesn't. But at what cost here? Glacial down 4. It's doing plenty of damage once again, but not enough. Legionnaire and Pebbles go down, but it's a genocide for Sync Esports, including a double tap for Fritzmeister.
On Valkyrie. Valkyrie has 7 HP. Oh, that's so close. But yeah, just again, just going for a gank on Pebbles when he's right next to the T1 tower. Like, clearly, you have to assume that Zinc have obviously all TP rotations. Obviously, Legionnaire farming in the jungle anyway. Like, just going for that gank is just really, really risky, and it's just definitely not worth the rewards that they could have got for just the kill on Pebbles. So, 5-man wipe, looking pretty rough now for Tree at the moment.
Double damage rune picked up by Puppet Master, and he's going to go into the Hellborn Ancients and actually clean up what is a double stack, it looks like. You do see a TP coming in, actually, from Oogie. Now, this is interesting, because Puppet Master is getting low, but he has that Assassin Shroud. So, yeah, he's going to be fine. Oogie realizing, okay, I might as well finish these off here. Because make the best of that situation wasn't going to be able to chase. So, a little bit of steal there from Puppet Master, but Oogie at least clean up a couple himself. So, not the biggest deal there necessarily. But what is a big deal is now a 7,000 goal lead and a 7,700 experience lead in favor of Sync Esports. And again, with the makeup and how things are playing out for them, you got to feel pretty worried for Willowkeeper once again. I mean, hell, even with the Madman, and speaking of that Helm of the Black Legion, that's not the Energizer, that's not, the Brutalizer for damage assistance, and being surviving sure is good, but don't expect him to, be that carry potential hero that he can be for a lot longer now, especially because of that choice. So, that's where that item pickup might not have been the best, honestly, but it's there's a lot of carry here on the Legion side. With that said, this is a very powerful later game team too. So, I
mean, Hellborn can easily, I think, handle themselves in the late game. They've got Madman, and time again we've seen Oogie sort of carry into the late game as well. And I mean, yeah, obviously they'll be fighting against Valkyrie and Puppet Master and Legionnaire, but I think that might honestly have to be the way forward or the game plan here for Tree, because they're not winning these team fights because they're so far behind in terms of goal experience. And every single time they go for a gank, Zinc are always there to sort of counter-initiate. Obviously the portal key on Pebbles and the Assassin Shroud on Puppet Master, and also the portal key on Legionnaire as well. So, yeah, I mean, almost the only other strategy they can go is trying to go for this late game, try and outfarm from Zinc. And go for a few pickoffs that are safe, obviously, with the Pharaoh and Bubbles, because the 8,000 goal behind, if they go for a team fight, they'll just lose because of how far they already are behind. So, yeah, I mean, the hands are a little bit tied here, Breaky, because, like, regardless of what they do, they're going to be in a bad situation in this.
They find, who do they find? They found Pharaoh right there. Valkyrie Prism coming out to do so. They get a nice arrow attempt, but good job by Bubbles using the take cover. The Mummy Wall's actually causing a little bit of issues, but now Madman Sandy's looking to make them happen. But there's a Voodoo Puppet though, even with the Helm of the Black Legion, not enough. Look at the burst damage right there. And I believe I even saw the Blazing Strike on the Puppet as well to make sure to get the kill. The nice takeover once again from Bubbles, but it just won't matter. He goes down. And the route is real in favor of Sync Esports. I was also going to make a statement, too, as look at the experience advantage, specifically on Pyromancer. I mean, as a team, Sync's just doing great. Pyromancer's level 12. That's your main support right there. He's higher level than 3 other heroes here on the Hellborn side, including, of course, especially the Glacius here on the Hellborn team. So, I mean, the fact that he's dealing that much, 675 magic damage in a burst by pressing R as a support is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and this is the solo support from Zing, like both higher levels than both of the supports from Tree. And this just goes back to, honestly, like obviously them freeing up a lot of the map, honestly, for Zinc, and a lot of kills he's been involved in as well. Like 11 kills, like only 5 he's missed actually. So I think the most amount of kills for his whole team, except for obviously Mickey's. Gets high XP from that.
Now, I will say this, Sync actually, they had a pretty comfortable lead against Nullstone Gaming last weekend in that game too, where they were going up against the Oogie, and before you knew it, Nullstone Gaming actually won that game. So, I'm not saying the same thing's gonna happen here, but it's something to think about. It's something to keep in mind that in the back of your head, we'll see if any trolling style comes out from Sync perhaps or not, or if they're just gonna take care of business and make sure to get the job done, but that's, I'm sure, back of their mind as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only kind of play they've got here, Tree, is maybe to pick up a stronger head on Oogie, and then hopefully he just goes ham and just destroys in the team fights. Because if he picks up stronger head, then he's not going to be able to get locked down from Pebbles or Puppet Master and Valkyrie. Yes, obviously he can get locked down from Legionnaire, but I mean, what other sort of play or strategy can they really have in Mindbreaking? Like, maybe they could try and sneak Congo. Perhaps they are Hellborn. They do have the Hellborn advantage, but
Yeah.
Zinc, obviously, they have Ward's sort of spot in that as well. I mean, they can go for a couple of ganks, but at the same time, as long as Zinc have good positioning and don't farm too far away from Tier 1 towers, they won't be able to get picked off. And obviously, if Tree do go for those ganks, then it might end up backfiring from them. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the only play they've got here, Breaking.
A little bit of interesting situation at the top lane. You do see Madman's kind of chasing right here. But I don't know if he's going to really get the opportunity that he's looking for. He's going to stock it in. You can tell the Hellborn team now, this is to numbers advantage of them. However, Puppet Master does have a TP, and he could come in the arrow to start things off. It catches Oogie, actually. And the Wrath of the Pharaoh completely whiffs as well. Already a poor start here for the Hellborn team. And now Legionnaire following things up. Not really. Didn't even taunt right there. So not the most coming of that. But Pebble says, get in there, bro. And he goes in. Oogie gets jumped on, and Oogie just melts. The burst is once again real. Look at Madman. He's like, I got this. No, you don't. The hold is real, and that should be a dead Madman most likely. Yeah, the decapitate to finish him off. So Oogie just simply couldn't do anything in that fight, it really seemed like. And, oh, that arrow, that's his teammates, so never mind. But anyways. You know, again, I don't want to say it's because Balthazar is playing Oogie for the first time. And like I said earlier, you know, it's not your typical carry hero. But I kind of think that maybe has a little bit to do with it. It just seems like...
No, I agree, man. I agree. Like, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, do you remember when I said, I think it was like 10 or 15 minutes ago, like I said, like, compare this Oogie to like a Nullstone Beaver Banger Oogie. It just doesn't feel, it doesn't have the same scariness to it, honestly. There's, as me as a spectator, or me as Zinc, like, I wouldn't be too scared, honestly, of Balthazar playing Oogie. Like, you compare that to sort of like Beaver Banger picking up Oogie, and you're like, oh crap, like, it's quite scary, like, obviously from the recent experience, the recent history he's had with it, but yeah, I mean, Balthazar just really hasn't really had the, it's kind of some impact, honestly.
Yeah, some of those numbers right there on Oogie, as you said, in the last 30 minutes, I mean, usually it's very good for Oogie. I mean, hell, look at that, 17. Basically, 17 kills, 10 assists, and only 4.5 deaths and 580 goals. That's ridiculous in 6 games. The stat that's got to be up there with some of the better stats for something like post 30 minutes. But anyways, yeah, the hands of Balthazar, though, with the way this game's going, it just doesn't feel like that's going to be as nearly scary as I keep going back to. So he's going to maybe farm some double stack Ancients here, and again, continue to try to get bigger and better. Sheepstick would help, sure. But you're already at a point where already 2 Shrunken Heads are up on both Puppet Master and Pebbles. You got a third one coming up on Legionnaire, and Blade picked up by Casey. Now, I gotta believe that doesn't purge off Primal Surge.
No, it doesn't.
I'm gonna say
it's
it
not
doesn't.
A buff.
Yeah.
It's not a buff.
Actually, Legionnaire, he's dead. Well, that's unfortunate.
I mean, it's still decent though. Good against obviously the Tarquake movement's been also decent to sort of drain his mana as well. I think it's a good item.
It's like a secondary carry too, as Valkyrie definitely is here in this game, especially. It's just a good item to have. I mean, even if there's nothing that crazy good to purge off, it's just good to have. So
can purge off Song of the Silence as well from Bubbles, so decent.
Yep, Vigil Sheepstick will be good. So yeah, definitely reasons for it, as there always is. And I still say to this day that Nullfire is probably one of the, if not the most underrated item in the game. Keizu making it work here.
Thunderclaw?
No, yeah, I mean Thunderclaw's good, but yeah, when it comes to being underrated, I've said it for so long, man. I mean, and that item has just been nerfed so much, or the price has been lessened. It's like, guys, pick up this item.
Yep.
They're still not picking it up. I mean, it's like 5 gold, it feels like. You can get it really quickly.
I guess, but you always have to have the right hero to pick up. Like, Valkyrie's the perfect hero to pick up. Who in the meta nowadays can really pick up a Nullfire? Like, it's less about, you know, the item being bad, or, you know, people thinking the item's bad. Like, everyone thinks the item's good, but you just don't have the heroes in the metagame that can really pick it up. Like Legionnaire, not going to pick up. Pyromancer doesn't have enough money to pick up. Puppet Master's not going to pick it up. Pebbles, don't even think about it. Like, all these heroes, they're not going to pick up Nullfire Blade because it just doesn't suit them. Like, all the heroes that normally pick up Nullfire Blade just don't work in the meta.
Yeah.
Like Nighthound, for example, Sandwraith.
Gotta pick more
Don't
Nighthound.
really see anymore.
Gotta pick more Sandwraith. That's all the...
Exactly.
It's a lot.
Don't say that.
Yeah, right. Pebbles jumps in on Madman right here, but he's going to be fine. in the end. Hey, the way Samurai's displayed lately, I actually wouldn't mind. I think it'd be
He's quite active.
aggressive play. It's
not when he's AFK.
Yeah, no. Old school Sand Wraith, no thank you. Those were that a Wild Soul, some very dark times in competitive.
Keeper Tempest is bad as well as that.
Tempest definitely up.
Although we still see Tempest all the time.
Okay, well, injured by Madman right there. There isn't Invis Pebbles, but
my.
again, the Bound Dog going to come into play right here. But they actually fall back, and Pebbles is like, I don't even care. I'm just going in. I got my team support nearby. They get the one kill on a Glacius, so no Glacius downpours going to be happening. Valkyrie does get hit in the back. She actually leaps away. She's trying to run. It ain't going to happen. But meanwhile, his support's going to be picked up and being Oogie. Oh, geez. Yeah, the split fight definitely not in favor of Willowkeeper. And Sync is going to go. Pebbles, ooh, he almost found some more.
It's quite funny, like Tree, the only person they can really kill is Valkyrie because she doesn't have a shrunken head, so they all just focus her and kill her. Pretty funny, but it's going to be Congo pick up here now for Zinc, and I think that's going to be a nail in the coffin now break here. Oogie, he just doesn't have the right amount of farm honestly to sort of break through Zinc. They have all the shrunken heads as well, so like Oogie isn't going to be doing that much of an impact honestly to Zinc. So. Yeah.
That's.
Man,
they know he's here. The taunt comes out. They get him exposed. See Tablet actually being used on Mammoth. I don't know if that was for the better. As Pebble says, thank you very much. And Insania gets a double tap, because why not? So it just continues one after the other. Willowkeeper, they just can't break through this, man. I mean, this is a great team. Willowkeeper is. They've shown that throughout Haunter Season 3 so far. But when they run into Sync Esports, it's like a different game that they play. More so that Sync is just that good too. But
yeah, but I think the reason being is there might be some more engagements though.
Oogie actually gets hit by a 5-second arrow. That's a good start, of course. And he's going to be able to hold his ground initially. But the fact that he can't even press R in these fights because of the lockdown, that says something too. He just can't do it. I mean, Bubbles goes down. This is just. I expect GG's, honestly. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, this game's done, man. But yeah, going back to what you were saying though, obviously, like Tree, they are a great team, but I almost think like the strategies they do, like they're not running the jungle, they run the secondary support. They pick up these weird heroes and these weird strategies, and I think like they get away with it with the lesser or lower tier teams, like when they play against teams like Ogre, or like no disrespect to them, but. Like when they play the lower tier teams, they can get away with these weird strategies. But when they're going against like top teams like Zinc, they know the meta game inside out. Like if you have a weakness in your draft, they will exploit it, as they did here in game 1 and in game 2. And so like they're never really going to be able to take games against the top teams if they play this way, because the game, the meta game and sort of in terms of balance as well. Like you just simply can't play this way. Like obviously Zinc have played good, and it's not always about the draft or the strategy, but at the same time, like against the top teams, you have to play almost the meta game. Otherwise, you're going to be playing at a disadvantage, and with that disadvantage, Zinc are just going to exploit it and beat you. But in the end, great win coming from Zinc as well. So they're going to progress on to the grand finals.
Yes, they are. It's once again a familiar territory for them. Of course, they've been to every grand finals every cycle. Of course, last cycle they lost it to BMG, but. They will continue that trend at least, and ideally for them, the trend of winning another grand final, which they did the first 3 cycles, of course. So it seems like things are shaping up. That could be the end result, but hey, tomorrow Willowkeeper will get another chance, at least against Nullstone Gaming. Honestly, though, I really have been liking the way Nullstone's been playing lately. I think they're definitely the hot team right now, especially in the cycle.
Oh, yeah.
So I think Willowkeeper has their work cut out for them with Nullstone.
Definitely, and I mean, if Oogie goes through on the draft as
boy,
well,
like, which team could get Oogie? Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Obviously, that'll be the losers bracket finals tomorrow. So we'll see if will it be a rematch of Willowkeeper Sync, or will Nullstone Gaming get a chance to perform in the grand finals and see what they can do against Sync Esports. The one thing is for certain, Sync is in there, and again, they will have a 1-0 advantage in a best of 5. As a result of getting there. So congratulations to Sync Esports. Once again, feeling pretty good. They guarantee themselves a good chunk of that prize pool. Of course, ultimately, at least $5,900 of what is a chance to even make $8,300 with a first-place finish. So quite the gap right there, but again, in a good spot for that. So with that said, Sync winning the series 2-0. That will wrap things up for today. Pretty good day overall. Had both a couple of good series here. Both did end 2-0 in the end, but doesn't mean we didn't have some good games, especially the initial series was great. Nullstone versus Rexers, of course. Nullstone ultimately winning that to again get their chance to face Willowkeeper in what is the losers bracket finals. So before we do officially wrap up, though, as always, Mini Maggot, you got any shout outs, any final words you want to say?
Yeah, just shout out to my Twitter at mini_maggot, and I'm going to be starting to stream hopefully by next week, because I'll be getting my flat next week hopefully, so I'll have a lot more free time and stuff to cast and stream. I don't really know what I'm going to be streaming yet. I don't know whether it's going to be like high TMM or 1500 TMM, just 15 to 2K, or just cast some scrims. I don't really know. If you've got any ideas what you want me to do,
The Z through
let
A
me know.
challenge.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I want to do. I don't know. I'm thinking. I've been playing a lot of these weird heroes that we never see. Like I've been playing loads of Defiler today, and like Gravekeeper and Hellbringer. So I need to find my niche when I stream.
There you go.
I don't know.
Over
Anyway,
time.
that's it.
Over time, that'll happen. All right, yeah, obviously, let's get another good day here. Shout out to Quincy as well. Speaking of that, actually, extra shout out for Quincy. He's going to be casting, I believe, some replays of what's going to be the gold division, as he usually does. So head over there, Quincy 0191, I believe is what it is.
Oh, Diamond.
Oh, actually, Diamond apparel. Okay, so this replay casting some round of 8 games. Gotcha. Games that weren't covered. Yeah,
I might be joining him as well.
Hell, BMG versus Shrek is Love. I wouldn't be surprised if that's on that list.
That'd be cool.
That'd be a fun one, I'm sure. Yeah, so Mini Maggot sounds like, yeah, you might be down to co-cast.
Yeah, I might be joining him as well. If he wants me, that is.
If you want, well, that's another question.
If Quincy wants me.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. All right. So Quincy, again, twitch.tv/Quincy0191. I'll also host the channel here on Honcast to make it easy as well. But we are wrapping up officially again tomorrow, guys. 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time. Nullstone Gaming versus Willowkeeper will be our losers bracket matchup, and actually in the finals. And then the winner of that, of course, moves on to play Sync Esports. I'm actually updating the brackets right here once again to one last look before we do say goodbye. Again, HauntTour.com. You can check it out for yourselves on top of it as well. But there we go. Another reason, extra reason to tune in tomorrow will be we will be on a little bit of a break after next weekend, or after this weekend, I should say, as not only is it the usual 1 weekend break, but there will be an extra weekend break due to holidays season kind of kicking in here. So, it's our last day before we got a little bit of time off here from the competitive, at least the Haunt Tour scene, Haunt Tour action. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Again, congratulations to Sync one more time. Moving on there in the winter bracket finals. Forgot to update that, but anyways, that's what happened. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time. Until then, head over to Quincy's stream, or have a good night. Either one. See you guys.